This is Top 30. Coming up, talk about a promotional fail. Thousands of kids and their parents stood in line for hours only to be disappointed. Everyone will be scrubbing their bathrooms after learning about the aerosol effect. And power couple Jay-Z and Beyonce are finally coming home. Welcome to the show. I'm Kristen Smith, and here are 30 things you need to know today. Do not eat this cereal. The CDC issued a blunt and strong statement about Kellogg's Honey Smacks, which is linked to a nationwide salmonella outbreak. The agency warned people not to eat the cereal regardless of package size or best by date. 100 people in at least 33 states have been infected by salmonella, and 30 of those victims have been hospitalized. Kellogg's voluntarily recalled 1.3 million boxes in June, but the FDA says it believes some stores are still selling them. Salmonella symptoms last for up to a week and include diarrhea, fever, and abdominal cramps. FDA investigators determined a third-party manufacturing facility of Honey Smacks caused the outbreak. That plant is no longer producing the cereal. Johnson & Johnson has been ordered to pay out a record $4.69 billion to 22 women who claim the company's talc-based products caused them to develop ovarian cancer. Johnson & Johnson said they're deeply disappointed in the verdict and called the trial fundamentally unfair. They plan to appeal. And if you're hitting the gym, some good news for you and your pocketbook. Congressional lawmakers have advanced a bill that could make certain fitness expenses like your gym membership a tax write-off. Some sports and other activities could also be a deduction, but the bill specifically excludes golf, sailing, hunting, and exercise books or videos. And finally, Maya Tisdale is almost 5 years old and just took her first steps. She has a rare form of cerebral palsy that left her unable to walk until now.
I'm walking.
Look at that, man.
Yes, I'm walking.
Do another little step. Yeah, just a little one.
I'm walking. Yes.
Wes.
Her pure joy is just the sweetest thing, and that, my friends, has got to be the story of the day. Now let's go to the floor of the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with Susan Lee. So, Susan, I hear Apple has some new products.
Yeah, that's right, Kristen. Apple's out with a new line of upgraded MacBook Pro laptops. The new models are faster, they have a touch bar and touch ID. It's also a little bit pricier, with the cheapest one starting at $1,800. Also for sale, new leather laptop sleeves starting at just $180. Now, the last two Blockbusters in Alaska are going out of business, leaving just one operating store in Bend, Oregon. At its peak, Blockbuster had more than 9,000 stores, and they employed more than 84,000 people worldwide. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2010, and most of its stores closed down soon after. Uber users will now be able to use Venmo as a payment method for their trips. The feature will appear right next to Apple Pay directly on the app.
And I understand these mobile payment apps are becoming more popular.
Well, in the U.S., mobile payment transactions totaled $49 billion last year. But that's just a fraction of the total that's taking place in China, which saw its cashless mobile payments at $12 trillion. That's with a T, trillion, yes.
Really interesting. Thanks, Susan. Well, also joining us today is Danielle Knox from Fox 35 Orlando. She has what you need to know. So, Danielle, I hear there's a new reason people might want to avoid multivitamins.
Hi, Kristen. Well, new research is strengthening the argument against using multivitamins to improve heart health. The study pooled data on 2 million participants in 18 previous trials. Results showed no association between the use of multivitamins and death from heart-related conditions. Multivitamins are a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States. Well, teens who spend more than 2 hours a day on social networking sites may be at a higher risk of being cyberbullied. Researchers surveyed more than 12,000 European teens, finding those who were on these platforms more than 2 hours a day were more likely to be bullied. Researchers say this shows how even just a little bit of time online without any monitoring can increase the risk of being bullied. Well, do you dread making small talk when you're in a social setting? It turns out small talk may not help anybody at all. It's the deeper conversations that matter. Researchers studied the conversation habits of nearly 500 people. While small talk had no effect on a person's mental state, a deeper, more substantial conversation was linked to a greater sense of happiness. And that's what you need to know. And Kristen, I can tell you, I'm not really the greatest at small talk. What about you?
You know, I can do it when I need to, but I do see the value of more meaningful conversations, too. Thanks, Danielle. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. A promotion meant to help parents save money and bring a smile to a child's face ended up with long lines, disappointed children, and upset parents. Take a look at the scene at different Build-A-Bear stores from across the U.S., Canada, and even England. In some cases, thousands of people showed up to take advantage of the company's Pay Your Age promotion, overwhelming store employees. So basically, if a 3-year-old wants a bear, you pay $3. The lines were so long in some places, there were safety concerns. And Build-A-Bear issued a statement on its website at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, telling shoppers that lines were closed. For those who couldn't get a bear, the store is giving out a $15 voucher. But that's frustrated some parents even more because bears typically cost about $30. This was the first Pay Your Age promotion for the company, and I'm guessing it's going to be the last. Let's go to Andrea Robinson now from Fox 10 Phoenix. She has this week's life hacks. So Andrea, what do you have for us?
Hey Kristen, this week's life hacks are all about travel hacks, making traveling easier. So we'll start with packing. When packing breakables like sunglasses and things of that nature, stick them inside your shoes and they will stay safe through the long travel trip. Next up, making sure your makeup doesn't break. And to do that, open up the compact, place a cotton pad inside, and that will make sure it doesn't crack by the time you get to the destination. Lastly, making sure your jewelry doesn't get all tangled. That's the worst. So if you've got necklaces you're taking, string them through a drinking straw, clasp them, and then put them in your jewelry bag, and they should be good to go the next time you arrive. Kristen, those are your life hacks for this week. Back to you.
All great packing tips for your summer getaway. Thanks, Andrea. Well, stock up on soap and throw out your toothbrush because this story is about your bathroom. The average person flushes the toilet 5 or 6 times a day, around 2,000 flushes per year. But the rush of water can send hundreds of thousands of bacteria into the air. It's called the aerosol effect, and it's not great. One microbiologist says when droplets come out of the toilet, it looks like the 4th of July. Those germs go about 10 inches into the air and hang around for about an hour and a half. Fortunately, there are some ways to make the bathroom less disgusting. Keeping the cover down reduces the reach of the aerosol effect. But just in case, move your toothbrush at least 3 feet away from the toilet. Clean the floor around the toilet where the water droplets eventually land. Toilet cleaners that go in the tank kill germs, but they can also kill rubber seals and moving parts needed to flush. Solutions that go in the bowl work best. And as always, remember to wash your hands. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. How much more sugar do you think children eat during the summer? Well, according to one UK report, kids eat up to 5 times more sugar in the warm weather thanks to sweet treats like ice cream and soda and all that good stuff. Joining us now to talk about it is Dr. Suzanne Gilbert. Glantz, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Kristen.
This is a big number. How does this happen?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, we're both moms. We know how that happens.
I know,
mean,
right?
It's a couple of things. I think some of it is lack of structure. I think it's lack of availability. I mean, if you go to any theme park or just a park, who's there with food? There's an ice cream truck, you know what I'm saying?
Those moms have the snacks packed. I am not one of them.
Well, right. So it makes it very hard. I think a lot of it's just access.
Yeah.
And also, let's face it, I mean, I want some ice cream sometimes in the summer.
I was gonna
you
say,
know.
it's hot, we're happy, let's eat sweets.
Right.
So what can we do to keep our kids out of the cookie jar?
Yeah, I mean, we have to have something else available for them. So a really fun thing to do at home is to make your own frozen dessert with a frozen banana base. It's really delicious, it's really healthy, and kids like being a participant in that kind of stuff. Freezing fruit, grapes are fantastic, and then taking nice natural fruit juices, and you can make those into popsicles or even ice cubes.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have something else that's delicious and a little more healthy, then you're less likely to be going to sugar or exceeding to the demands for sugar.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
and great ideas. Thank you so much. Frozen grapes. Oh my gosh, so good.
Delicious.
Doctor, thank you so much for being here. All right, well, here's a story that might make you laugh a little. Writer Megan Amram created a hilarious Emmy campaign for herself, and it worked. The web series she created earned her 2 Emmy nominations. Candidly titled An Emmy for Megan, Amram took her mission very seriously. She even rented out a billboard in Los Angeles in effort to nab one of the coveted gold statues. Amram researched every guideline in her quest to get nominated and fulfilled every one. She released her series on April 27th, the deadline date for a project to be considered. She thanked her fans on Twitter for the Emmy nomination, but joked, "Remember, it's not called 2 nominations for Megan, it's called an Emmy for Megan, because what matters is that trophy. See you on the winner's podium." She's been nominated for both Outstanding Actress in a Short-Form Comedy or Drama Series and Outstanding Short-Form Comedy or Drama Series. Hey, you gotta give it to her for ingenuity. Okay, let's move along now to a controversial NBA rule that may soon be coming to an end, but the rule has nothing to do with play on the court. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said he's personally ready to eliminate the one-and-done rule. The rule forces players coming into the league to play 1 year of college basketball or internationally, and was started in 2006. It came after a flurry of players tried to go right from high school to the NBA, but weren't ready to be a professional athlete, either physically or mentally. Critics say the rule ended up hurting the college game, with players attending school for just 1 year, essentially using it as a quick stop before turning pro. The rule change would have to be bargained with the players' union, but now it seems like a matter of when and not if. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 10 Phoenix, Paula Godwin was taking a hike with her dog when the two were attacked by a rattlesnake. But what happened next has taken the world by storm. Paula's now viral post tells the story of her dog Todd selflessly jumping in front of the snake to protect her, leaving him with the nickname Todd the Hero Dog. Now, a week later, Todd is making a miraculous recovery. Our next story from Fox 29 Philadelphia. In April, Melissa DePino was there to capture the video that sparked the worldwide controversy when 2 men were wrongfully arrested for just sitting in a Starbucks. Also in the Starbucks, Michelle Sahin immediately spoke up during the traumatic incident. And even though the two had never met before, they were united in their desire to do something about this injustice. So they created From Privilege to Progress, an organization that looks to bring the community together to discuss controversial topics in a constructive way. Our final story from Fox 26 Houston. 10 months after Hurricane Harvey devastated the city of Houston, 20 families whose homes got demolished in the storm can now start to get back on their feet, thanks to a generous furniture donation from Sam Zavery, owner of Exclusive Furniture in Houston.
One thing my father always told me is, stay humble and remember where you came from. These are the people, these are my customers, these are the people who support us. Without Houston, or without people in Houston, we would be nowhere.
An act of kindness when these families needed it the most. Welcome back. A federal appeals court made a controversial ruling involving your rights and TSA workers at the airport. The court said passengers cannot sue TSA agents for assaults, false arrests, and other abuses. The court determined agents are government employees and not law enforcement officials. That means they're protected under the Tort Claims Act. The act says the federal government and its employees have immunity that shields them from most civil or criminal liability. The only time this does not apply is for law enforcement officers who are presumed to know when they should have proper authority for their actions. The court acknowledged their ruling left very limited options, even in the face of outrageous conduct by a TSA agent. But they said they were forced to interpret the law as written. Well, we are mid-swing through the popular summer concert tours that draw millions of fans every single year. And Elizabeth Stanton from Popstar Magazine is here to tell us about a very famous collaboration hitting stadium stages. Hey, Liz.
Yes, Kristen, Beyonce and Jay-Z are on the run again this summer. Early in March, news of the pop couple going on tour together leaked and spread on social media, and then was quickly confirmed when tickets went on sale. No strangers to collaboration, Beyonce and Jay-Z have performed in a handful of European cities for their On the Run 2 tour before they plan to return to North America late this month for select dates through October. Dubbed hip-hop's royal couple, the pair will share the stage on the heels of some rocky moments. The set list is packed, and fans can expect hits from Beyonce's iconic album Lemonade and her husband's 2017 Grammy-nominated album 444, in particular classics like Bonnie and Clyde and Upgrade You. Kristen, I hear there are some seats left, so grab them while you can. Back to you.
And I'm guessing those tickets won't last long. Thanks, Liz. Health officials think they know what caused a recent E. coli outbreak. Earlier this year, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found romaine lettuce that was contaminated with E. coli. It was the largest outbreak of E. coli in over 10 years. 5 people were killed. More than 200 others got sick in 36 states. The CDC now says the contamination may have been from canal water in the Yuma region of Arizona. Samples taken there contain the same strain of bacteria as the romaine lettuce. Now Now the agency will try to figure out how the E. coli reached the water in the first place. They're currently testing animals, soil, and water in the area. Much of the country's leafy greens are grown in the area around the Colorado River in Arizona and California. Workers in the food industry want to make sure the contaminated water doesn't affect next year's crops. They'll be planted in August. Solutions might include chemical treatment or finding another water source. While it seems like a never-ending battle in trying to make the streets safer for pedestrians, and now one Canadian city is taking a three-dimensional approach. Montreal is experimenting by painting some of their crosswalks to appear in 3D, hoping it will more readily catch the eye of drivers. It doesn't come cheap, though. The cost of painting white stripes on a regular crosswalk is about $200, while painting it to look three-dimensional costs upwards of $3,000. But the optical illusion of a raised surface gives pedestrians a feeling of increased safety, and drivers are likely to take a pause before speeding through, or at least that's the hope. Montreal joins countries like Germany, India, France, and Iceland, who have all been using the 3D approach with positive results. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The richest Kardashian might not be who you think. Forbes magazine says their latest cover star, 20-year-old Kylie Jenner, is on track to become the youngest self-made billionaire in world history. Forbes estimates Jenner's current net worth at $900 million, far outpacing her older sister Kim, who's estimated to have $350 million. The bulk of Jenner's wealth comes from her mega successful makeup brand, Kylie Cosmetics, best known for its $29 lip kits. Forbes values the company at $800 million, and Jenner owns 100% of it. Financial experts say with another year of growth, Jenner will become the youngest self-made billionaire at age 21, beating out the current record holder, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, who became a billionaire at age 23. But Forbes is facing some backlash for calling the new mom and youngest Kardashian sister self-made. After all, Kylie was born into tremendous wealth and has starred on the hit reality series Keeping Up with the Kardashians since she was just 10 years old. But despite all the criticism, Kylie must be laughing all the way to the bank. All right, here's an amazing story. Firefighters came to the rescue of a Florida man having a heart attack, and not only did they save his life, but it's what they did afterwards that's making headlines. Gene Work was laying sod in his yard when he had a heart attack. But before being taken to the hospital, he pleaded with his brother and wife, Melissa, to finish the job so the family wouldn't be fined by their homeowners association. While going above and beyond the call of duty, the Pasco County Fire Department and ambulance returned to the scene to pitch in getting the yard work done. Melissa posted photos about the good deed on Facebook, and it's been shared almost 80,000 times. Gene was released from the hospital, and the couple paid a visit to the rescue station with their 2 children to personally thank the men who saved Gene's life and his lawn. Well, here's a really sobering stat. Nearly 40% of Americans are obese or overweight, but it looks like most people are trying to do something about it. A new report from the CDC says almost 50% of Americans are trying to lose weight, including many who aren't overweight in the first place. Data from 2013 to 2016 found that 49.1% of adults tried to lose a few pounds, with more women than men trying to cut weight. According to the CDC, 66.7% of adults with obesity and 49% of overweight adults tried to lose weight. And 1 in 4 were underweight or normal weight and still tried to drop some pounds. All things considered, doctors say it's encouraging that Americans are aware of the health risks associated with excess weight. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. A growing number of companies are running continuous background checks on people they've already hired. According to Bloomberg, more companies than ever are running ongoing checks on employees. The screenings have been standard practice in healthcare and finance, but they're becoming more common in other businesses. Those include manufacturing, as well as retail jobs where workers have access to cash. Uber reportedly stepped up checks of its drivers after several high-profile incidents. Earlier this year, an Uber Eats driver shot and killed a customer. The Chicago public school system will screen 45,000 employees before the next school year after media reports alleging sexual abuse. Industry experts say part of the shift is due to the Me Too movement. One employment lawyer said, companies wonder, do we have people who might have the potential to harass? Technology has also made background checks easier. Many police departments and courts now keep records online. Some lawyers and privacy advocates warn that checks can sometimes have errors or lack context. But many companies worry that if they don't do the checks, they could be missing something important. And that's it for today's show. Here's what's coming up on the next Top 30. Summer travel season is here, and drivers aren't the only ones facing high fuel prices. Those costs could affect your flight. Plus, how Prince fans could get the chance to own items that once belonged to the late superstar. And when she noticed hungry children in her community, this mother decided to do something about it. You can also listen to today's biggest stories on the Top 30 podcast. We'll see you next time right here on Top 30.